Okay, hi everybody. So that was the title to start off with, and then we suddenly found ourselves in the policy section and thought, oh, let's add some reflections on policy. So I have Tanya Accone, who's the co-presenter here, and she's made a short video which I will show a bit later on for her section. And I just want to talk about our partnership. So I'm a professor of biotechnology, but I'm also the South African Research Chair in Science Communication. So what that means is, so my background started in chemistry, which is more fundamental. So I did quite a lot of fundamental work and then shifted over time to more applied research. And I think that speaks to the kind of sense of urgency about the work that we need to do. So I think there's definitely some discussions to be had about how and why scientists shift their focus. But as you'll see in a moment, we go backwards and forwards all the time between basic and applied. So it's cross-cutting: water, energy, food, agriculture, health, environment and biodiversity. And what is particularly appealing about biotechnology is that there's a potential for technology transfer and innovation and to engage communities for direct societal impact. I want to show you this very short video, and I apologize, I practiced the sound early on and it wasn't very good, but it just shows a little bit about the lab work that we do. So at least you'll meet the students if you can't hear them.
Hi. My name is Tasmita Singh, and my research involves developing smart, low-cost pregnancy tests.
Making low-cost, rapid, paper-based diagnostics is an important focus for the Rhodes Biotechnology Innovation Centre.
Hello, my name is Shannon Rutherford, and I'm working on low-cost, paper-based cancer diagnostics.
Hi, my name is Kayla Davies, and I'm developing rapid diagnostic tests for testing water quality.
Hi, my name is Kangisi Linkosi, and my research project is focused on developing rapid diagnostic tests for the cannabis industry.
Hi, I'm Razma Tikiza. Community engagement is a big focus of our research group. Here, we test water for communities.
Okay, great. So that's, in a nutshell, some of my research is focused on rapid diagnostic tests. And then my science engagement research is focused on how we embed engagement into higher education research and teaching, and that's been a big focus of my chair, and how we embed that into our postgraduate students' research projects, so the master's and PhD students in particular. We've looked at the impacts for students. We've shown in our research that there is it has a potential for being quite transformative for our students in terms of identity and motivation. Engaging communities directly, we've seen that this has benefits in terms of enabling agency and fostering advocacy. I want to just give a couple of examples of the different the projects that we've done, the different kinds of engagements with communities. But I just want to just briefly mention this, that these are the values and principles that we try to uphold in our group, and we certainly have discussions about this as we go about our research and our engagement. Okay, so we've engaged and we've developed models for engaging communities at the conceptualization stage with communities, informing existing research at the onset of product development, and then pre-commercialization. In this project here, Tandi Nkwana worked with the community at a nature reserve to co-create or at least co-develop some issues.
Or find out exactly what's in the water.
Pause that there. To define some of the issues that communities face, and this was around their need for specific water testing products, and she was able to work with them in looking at some low-cost diagnostics. But over time, this has helped to inform the next iteration, which will be diagnostic tests that can be self-powering and low-cost. And that is what Tandi's doing for her PhD. Apiwe Mfuku, for his master's research, he worked on electrospun nanofibers and then worked with communities to try and see how these water treatment prototypes might look in a household. And in Grahamstown, where I come from, the South Africans will know, we like to talk about good quality water. And then this example here was a project on a new GMO, a sugarcane GMO, and we worked with journalists and journalism students to serve as mediators of the discussion between the scientists and sugarcane growers. And this is quite an insightful project, and I'd love to talk a bit more about this at some point. Another project that is quite close to my heart was our water testing facility that we developed. When we engage communities, we understand that there is an element of hope. People are hopeful, and I think Brooke mentioned these words of hope. And we understand that it can be a long time between this engagement with communities and product development. And so we established a water testing facility where communities can bring their water, and we'll test it for free in our facility. And this was informed by integrating knowledges from communities about their experiences of water quality, and we merged that with the scientific. And we put out a paper on this, which is I can share with you as well. Trying to go forward. Another aspect is that we don't want another deficit model in when we do engaged research. It cannot be deficit again. And so while we were establishing this water testing facility, we were always thinking of the next iteration, which is to make certain that we try and get the tests to communities so that they can test when they need it, rather than be reliant on the scientists. Okay, the last example I want to just mention is around cannabis. And across the world, cannabis has been decriminalized. And in South Africa, this is the case recently as well, within certain limitations, of course. Traditional growers of cannabis in the Eastern Cape part of South Africa have faced new challenges with these laws, with new competing strains coming in and a loss of income. We were asked by local government to do a project which explores community needs for scientific research that can support their inclusion in the cannabis bioeconomy. It's a very, very competitive space now, whereas for generations, for over 500 years, that was not necessarily the case. So we launched a project with a PhD student, Promise Sonqata, and he went over mountains and he walked everywhere and engaged 238 stakeholders in the Ponderland area. And this work helped to shape his lab work in terms of diagnostic tests. But more importantly, what happened when we were on the ground is we also asked communities what their specific needs were more broadly, and this has helped to define some very basic research and some applied research that needs to happen to support communities in the cannabis industry, but other areas as well, crop growing. So when Promise was out there, he was open to hearing everything that people wanted to share about their experiences. And this has been, this document that we're preparing is going to local government for policy development. So this is quite important for us. And we realized very early on that if we want real impact, we have to involve the policymakers, the wider stakeholders, our municipalities. And we learned early on that we need to involve the social scientists as well. And we need all of these different people or stakeholders in our processes. I think many of you will be familiar with this, the bioeconomy strategy, our science engagement strategies, and that certainly helps to inform our research. And the partner I just want to mention very briefly is Unicef, and their research, their engagement with us was towards developing smarter diagnostic tests. And we started working on a project to develop aptamers, which is in the title of the talk. So I'm just going to show this video so you can see what it is all about.
If you have used a pregnancy test, an at-home COVID test, or are diabetic and monitor your blood sugar levels, then you know firsthand the benefits that a point-of-care diagnostic test can provide. The next generation of diagnostic tests will be powered by aptamers as biorecognition elements. Aptamers are short, single-stranded nucleic acids, either DNA or RNA, that can fold into specific three-dimensional shapes. Like a key fitting a specific lock, aptamers can be designed to bind to targets with high affinity and high specificity. Specific aptamers can identify target molecules that diagnose conditions such as pregnancy, HIV/AIDS progression, or malaria, for example. Scientists use the CellX process to identify the most suitable aptamer that binds to the target. Aptamers can be used in a similar way to antibodies in diagnostic tests. Liquid containing the test sample with the target molecules is added to the test strip. If the target is present, it binds to aptamer molecules. Inside the liquid, the aptamer target pairs travel up the paper strip to the test and control lines. The test line changes color when binding to the aptamer target pairs, indicating a positive test result.
I'm now going to just show the video from Tanya Accone from Unicef Innovation Office. And so I'll work on, thank you. So I'll now show the video that Tanya Accone has prepared to talk about aptamers a little bit more. And I will then come back to that in a moment.
Let me pick up the story of aptamers. Development actors, such as NGOs and multilateral organizations, can play valuable roles in research, and the United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, where I'm Senior Advisor on Innovation, has a leading role in this story. We became actively involved in Rubik's work because we recognize that stakeholders such as ourselves can add value in the interfaces between science, policy, and society. We understand that researchers may not always fully grasp research impact potential from the applications of their technologies for underserved children and communities in unfamiliar contexts. That development practitioners familiar with the challenges facing these communities may in turn struggle to explore unknown domains of emerging science or to articulate how these could be applied to address the challenges they know so well. Policymakers, in turn, may lack access to emerging science expertise to understand the policy implications and investment opportunities, and that, in turn, may hinder progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals. And in society, people, especially young people, are not always meaningfully engaged in exploring the implications of science, technology, and innovation on their lives. The value of connecting all these dots was immediately apparent when we encountered the basic research underway at Rubik, and a multi-year collaboration was established. What value has UNICEF contributed to this work? UNICEF has been able to inform the research needs based on our global footprint, data, and interaction with communities across more than 160 countries and territories, bringing both local, end-user, and global perspectives on the needs facing children and women that might be addressable through biotechnology, such as opportunities in point-of-care diagnostics that could be unlocked for pregnancy and other applications. UNICEF has also brought a range of storytelling approaches to the task of communicating this science. This has included a variety of accessible articles and TV coverage to demystify this research for non-expert audiences. Convening connected conversations, these are events in which we discuss policy and financing applications and implications. Taking this work to new platforms such as South by Southwest, designing research to understand how we might communicate biotechnology among 10 to 13-year-old children, and products such as the video explainer you all saw earlier. UNICEF's initial funding towards establishing this shared research facility has been catalytic, leading to investments by others, such as the research infrastructure funding to set up the DSI nano-micro manufacturing facility in paper-based diagnostics. In fact, this shared Rubik-UNICEF vision exemplifies the recently adopted United Nations Pact for the Future, which commits to actions including an international cooperation in science, technology, and innovation to bridge the gap within and between developed and developing countries. But back to basics. If there's one key learning we took away from this research and innovation journey, it is that it is by no means a one-way trip from fundamental research to applied research. Research challenges and insights have shown us the necessity of iterating and of traveling back and forth on the continuum between the two.
Thank you. I think that the last key slides that I want to this is the last one, is just to show that, if we look at what informs basic research, because this is the topic of this symposium, absolutely it's curiosity, but it's also funding instruments, national policy, and then communities, the NGO, charitable organizations, and in turn these engagements with stakeholders, I feel, can inform new policy. And with that, I think that is our second last slide. I just wanted to mention again the reflections from this week, that there's certainly been, scientists experience joy, but absolutely the responsibility to do research. I've heard people talk about anxiety, climate anxiety, despair, hope, and again, the previous speaker talking about the global challenges and the need for us to be transformative so that we can have the impact. Thank you very much.